Brian, listen to me. Listen to me. If magic genies were real, my one wish would be that I could go in the past and talk to that 15-year-old version of myself that was just suffering and letting acne control his life. But since magic's not real and time travel's not real, I decided I would record a video just in the hopes that one day we will have the technology to be able to send it back to my 15-year-old self. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you exactly that video. Hey, Brian, this is weird. I'm talking to you at 15. I'm Brian at 30. I'm twice your age, and I don't know if any of this is gonna land, but I have a lot of stuff that I wish I would have known at your age. And I know right now you are very defensive and you're in a lot of pain, so kind of your defense mechanism is just shutting down and pretending like nothing hurts you. And so maybe you won't listen to this advice, but I'm begging you to, because I wish I would have known all this when I was your age. I know that acne is like controlling your life. I know that you cry about your acne, and I know that you pretend that you don't. And I know that you pretend that nothing is affecting you, and you play this big tough guy act, especially with all your friends. And I know that you feel really lost, and I know that you feel like you don't have support, especially from people that you can talk to, because you don't want anyone to think that you're weak. And that's something that I learned later in life was hurting you. Instead of making you stronger like you feel, instead of putting up those walls, you should take them down with people that you trust, because you can work through these feelings and they can empower you ultimately. And I want you to try and do that. I know that acne is really the center of your life. It's like the thing that you wake up in the morning thinking about, and it's something that you don't feel like you have control over. And I want to give you some advice that I think is going to change everything for you. I want you to understand that you are extremely powerful. And the way that you speak to yourself, the words that you use are what create your reality. Like, you are a powerful creator. And when you say things, it creates the reality, the universe that you live in. And so when you use words like, like I'm not worthy, I'm ugly, I hate this, I don't understand why this happens to me, I don't deserve this. When you say things like that, you create this narrative that your life fits inside of. You're creating this container where it's like, poor me, and things aren't gonna get better, and you don't love yourself. And so when you speak about how you don't love yourself, you're not gonna just get there naturally, and you're not gonna live a better life. You're not gonna feel better. You're not gonna feel more empowered by using these words. So I just encourage you, one, I know it sounds impossibly hard right now when you're waking up with cystic acne all over your face, but start to change. When you start to say something negative about yourself, when you say, I'm so ugly, I hate how I look, please try to change that. Say, I love who I am. I love what I'm becoming. I am becoming the best version of myself. Give yourself grace. Say, things are getting better. My skin will reflect who I am on the inside. That's the first thing I want to tell you. The other thing I want to tell you is where you put your focus is where your energy goes, and you're extremely powerful and you just don't realize it yet. And so when you allow others to dictate how your value is, what your value is, you are casting your power to them. And if you don't respect people, why would you respect their opinions, right? So when you have like a bully, you don't care about what that bully does with it. You don't care about that bully. But for some reason, when they say sharp things to you, you let it stab you. And so by allowing them to make you feel bad and bring you down, you are casting your power to that person that you don't respect. So change that. Think about who you care about their opinions. And when people are bringing you down, realize that those people, their opinion doesn't matter. For one, you shouldn't put weight in their opinion, but they're not doing the work to do anything that's impressive to you. You don't want to be like those people. So if people are talking to you and you don't want to be like that person in the future, don't listen to what they're saying and take it seriously. Another thing that I really want you to think about with your self-esteem is that you shouldn't, how do I put this? Please don't try to appease anybody just so that they like you. I know you grew up homeschooled. You never went to public school until your first year in high school. So I know right now when acne is getting at its worst, you're also suffering and trying to figure out how to fit in. And that's already a struggle enough. And so trying to manage having acne and having people bully you every day is like doubling down. It's like putting weight on somebody who's already trying to do like a super deep hike. It's really taxing. And so don't try to do things that will make you liked by other people, especially when it comes to girls. When you're trying to impress girls, they won't be impressed by you trying to fit into whatever box you think that they want you to be in. They want you to be individual. And this is really anybody and everybody. Like, your individuality is what separates you from the herd. And nobody cares about the herd. They care about the one that sticks out. And you are incredibly unique. Like, you know this. But I'm telling you, as you got older, you realized this. I just wish you would have realized it earlier. Like, you are extraordinary. You're a beacon of light. You help people in so many ways. You are genuine, you're authentic, and your desire to help people is one of your superpowers. And you realize it later in life, and it makes you feel incredibly fulfilled, incredibly empowered. But just learn it earlier. Realize that earlier. The last thing I'll say about this mindset, the spirituality thing is, read some books. I know you don't like reading books. Get like Audible or get a Kindle or something. But there's two books I want you to read. One is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray. And this book talks about how what you think in your conscious mind, your subconscious mind later when you go to bed says, okay, those are our truths. And then it seals it in there. And then your subconscious takes every power that it can and tries to make those things happen, tries to make those truths true. And so if you are saying to yourself, no one ever likes me, my skin is never gonna get better, I hate that this is happening to me, like anything, right? Like, people don't like me, all of that. Your subconscious is gonna make sure that you act and live in a way that will make that true. So when you change that mindset, when you say that people love me regardless of my skin, I am not my skin, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I'm amazing. Who I am, what I'm interested in, and what my personality is, what I can give to people, that is what people weigh the most. And people understand how valuable I am as a person. When you say things like that, when you say, I will be successful, I will achieve and succeed in my goals, in my mindset, things are getting better for me every single day. I'm moving forward to the best life that I've ever lived in. All of that stuff truly happens. And it might sound woo-woo. I know you're not super spiritual. Just try it a little bit and truly try it. Don't, be like, this is stupid. Just really try it. And I guarantee you'll see a huge thing change. The other thing I want you to do is read a book called Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. This is a book that is going to teach you so much. But one of the things I want you to understand, the natural flow of things, the natural state for you and for everybody really is that wealth and abundance come to you in every area of your life. Good things happen to you. Literally, that is the normal state of things. Then you just learn to resist it. Over time, you struggle. You hear things from people saying like, oh yeah, like those people have it so easy. People like us who grew up from where we're from, who, live in a house like we live in, that's not for us. They just got lucky. Those people have a silver spoon, whatever it is, right? When you start learning those things, then you say, yeah, that doesn't happen for people like me. And then you put these resistance up and you literally resist the flow of good things coming to you. Learn to break down those resistances. When you have friends who are speaking negatively about things that other people are doing, when people are succeeding and they start breaking that person down, recognize that. Don't just let that happen. Recognize, hey, those people are speaking negatively. Stop hanging around people who are speaking negatively because it gets in your head and then you start speaking negatively. Don't use sarcasm to hide your weaknesses, things that you have self-esteem problems with, have shame about, embarrassment about, things that you don't feel like are going good for you. Don't let other people say negative things that get into your head and you start believing them, and don't use sarcasm to mask any of your pains. When you see a pain that's happening, when you realize that something is irking you or hurting you or makes you want to cry, don't mask it and try to be tough like you've been doing. Embrace it, face it, and sit in those feelings, because that is how you grow. Don't do the easy thing, do the hard thing. Don't do the comfortable thing, sit in the discomfort. What you've learned when you got older is that you try to resist crying so much. Like that was one huge thing that you learned. And as a man, you're not supposed to cry, right? Like it makes you weak. And when you started to change your mindset about that, when you started to embrace what was difficult and you sat there and you cried, like, I know, I'm you, sat in that Civic that one day after school when everybody was making fun of your cystic acne, when you went up in front of the school, in front of the class and gave your speech, and you heard that kid whispering about your cyst as you were walking up there, when your friend touched your cyst, like poked on it and said, "What's up, Rudolph?" All those things hurt. And then you finally that day went in your Civic and you broke down and you cried. When you did that, it unlocked something in you. And you realized that releasing those feelings, it was extremely cathartic. It was super powerful, and it changed your life and your coping mechanisms. And so from using bad coping mechanisms like substances, like alcohol, other things, when it comes to how you were breaking yourself down when you were struggling to cope and you were being mean to other people to cope, instead, you could have learned to cope by expressing those feelings, living in those feelings, not denying them just because they're negative, but using those to empower yourself, to learn more about yourself, and then getting all these outlets that were healthy. You know, like for example, like fitness became a huge thing for you, bodybuilding. You went in the gym and you would sit in that anger that you felt for people who were being so terrible to you. You would not deny it and say like, oh, I shouldn't be an angry person. You said, no, for this hour, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to feel this, and I'm going to feel hate, I guess. Hate, yeah, that's fine. It's okay. You don't have to feel, even right now, I'm resisting saying that I felt hate. I felt hate. And when I went through those workouts, I hated those people. I hated what they're saying to me. By the end of the workout, I didn't hate them anymore. By the end of the workout, I had expressed those feelings and I was able to move forward. And so those emotions, those feelings weren't controlling me anymore. They weren't holding me back anymore. They weren't the ones that were driving me. I was the one who was in control. And I said, okay, hate, you had your time, I expressed you, but I'm done with you now. I'm gonna put you back because I have other things that I wanna do today. I have other things that I wanna focus on. And I guess this video could go for a really long time, Brian, but that is one of the things that I want you to understand. And I want you to understand that once you harness those feelings and once you've focused your attention away from these negative things and trying to deny that they're happening, all of that was sucking your energy and sucking your focus. But what you should have been doing and what you learned to do later after that was you learned that your attention and your focus can get anything you want done in life, and you started putting it into things that you felt extremely passionate about. And one of those things was the fitness route. But then you found out that you love cinematography and you went deep into that. Then you found out that you love YouTube because you're able to express and be vulnerable. And by doing that, you help people on a level that you never knew possible. You literally have people sending you messages about how things were going down a dark route and you were able to reroute them and help show them a different way to think. And that was worth more than any amount of money, any car, anything. You realized that was something that made you feel fulfilled. And so you started focusing on things that made you feel truly, spiritually, deeply fulfilled versus trying to live up to other people's metrics of success, whether that be people liking you, whether that be status, whether that be having financial success, whatever it is that people usually thought or try to teach you were the way to succeed in life. You said, no, that stuff doesn't matter. I know what makes me feel that giddy, sparkly, golden, beautiful, amazing feeling, that fire. You were the one who defined that, and you realized all those other things, when you've seen them happen, oh, I made more money and stuff, it didn't make you feel that way. Whenever you heard someone say like, oh, wow, you're doing really great right now, you realized that didn't matter. It was the other. It was what you know fulfilled you. So focus on that passion, focus on what fulfills you deeply, because when you're going through your hardest times and you've done all this work and you're like, oh, things are going great, you're gonna get brought down a level and things are gonna go from great to terrible. And you're gonna be like, I thought I did the work. I thought I didn't have to deal with these struggles anymore. I thought I moved past these. I learned from these. I became better than these. And that's when you get brought back down and you suffer and you go through hell again. And when that's happening, that's when you focused on the things that fulfilled you, your passion, and it helped got you through those things. And it made you It made you better for it. It made you learn. It made you grow. And using that tool made it so that you knew you were capable of any struggle, literally anything that happens to you. You know that you can focus on what you're passionate about, and all the other stuff that you're struggling with, what people think about you, what's really happening in your life objectively, all that becomes white noise, because at the end of the day, you can do whatever it is that makes you passionate. So you can go to the gym. It does not matter that you have acne. Does not matter what people have said to you that day. Does not matter what people think of you. You are in control of what you do when you get to the gym, or you are in control of what you make when you create art, when you create cinematography, when you share yourself to the world on YouTube. That is so powerful. And if you would have just learned that a lot earlier, you would have been so much more satisfied with life. And I don't regret anything. Those mistakes that I made me who I am. But I love you so much, Brian. And it took me a really long time to understand that I love myself, you, so much. And it took a long time for me to understand that I hated myself for a really, 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 really long time. And it didn't change until I started helping other people. And then I realized that I was those people. And that is what deep down was fulfilling me. I was reaching back to myself and helping a really hurt kid who was really, really struggling to fit in. And just felt like the black sheep, like no one understood me and cared about me. And I understand how tough that was. And I want you to understand that you're not alone, even when you feel alone. You yourself are all you need. But as you move forward and as you continue working on, understanding yourself and helping other people and leaning in your passions, you become this incredibly powerful light, this incredibly powerful beacon for people, and they're attracted to you and they love you so much for who you are, not for what your skin is. You are not your skin. You are not your status. People love you for what they feel around you, what you do for them. And when you realize that, you not only are able to help so many people, but you also gain these friends for life that become so deep that later, when you're my age, you realize so many people don't have that community. They don't have those friends because they haven't spent the time that you're going to spend. And so just don't devalue or undervalue how powerful that is. And I think I was going to go into a lot of physical stuff about what you could do for your skin and stuff, but I think it's really unimportant now. I want you to know those things, and you'll learn the other stuff. I don't want you to over focus on improving your skin. I don't want to over focus on having clear skin and not having to worry about cysts anymore. Having all those things are what made you who you are, and having to struggle through those things made you extremely empathetic and loving. And I think you'll figure out all that stuff on your own. And you can keep looking around and trying to figure it out, and you will. But don't lose focus and try to focus on those things so much. More so, let those struggles, let those things you had to deal with your acne help you grow into the person that you're going to be. So I think that's it. I think that's really good. And I hope that you take this to heart. I hope you watch this a few times, because there's a lot to unpack here, but just take it one step at a time. Don't be harsh. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Use better language for yourself. Give yourself grace and understand that this is something that takes years to learn. And I love you, and I hope you love yourself. I hope you learn to love yourself, which I know you will. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in about 15 years.